Greetings, fellow programmers. This is Pavel, and this is part 2 of our exercise where we are creating customers classes based on our base class called person. Now we are going to create, we already created person and customer classes. Now we're going to create preferred customer class. So once again, I'm just gonna add new class and call it preferred customer. Now this one does not need any really any arguments. We will simply calculate the within this class we will simply calculate the discounts. However, we are going to inherit from customer because we need access to the properties like the ID, spent amount, and so forth. And since customer inherits from person, we also need all these name, address, and phone. We'll have access to them, but we first have to. Oh, this is the text file. Sorry, I'll just close that. Anyway, so that we need the access to the constructors of these two classes. So if I go to my preferred customer, I'm going to create a constructor, public preferred customer, and since it inherits from customer, so I'm gonna pass some arguments to the customer class constructor. So I basically need the arguments for both person and customer to be passed into the preferred customer class. So I'm gonna do string name to be passed into it, string address, string phone, string ID. I forgot which one was the next one. I was then email. I'll just put it on the next line. String email. Then there was the integer spent amount and boolean on email list. So that's all the properties between the person and customer classes. But our customer class needs actually all of these being passed to it, because it since it inherits from person, it passes the name, address, and phone into person, so we need to actually supply it. So basically I'm gonna pass all of these right into it. So it's gonna be address, phone, ID, email, spent amount, and on email list. So when we create a preferred customer class, we will supply all these arguments. Then we will simply pass it to our customer class, which will then sort it out. It will take what it needs and pass the three that are used in person, which is name, address, and phone. It will pass those three into a person class and initialize the others based on the properties that it has, the ID, email, and amount, and the on email list. Now the exercise asks us to create we need the variable discount level, which is read-only property. So and also we need to include the set discount level function that determines the discount based on the purchases using switch statements. Alright, so I'm gonna create a public read-only property. It's gonna be a decimal because it's going to be the discount level, and it's gonna be decimal because obviously we are going to be using decimal. So like 10% will be 0.1, 8% will be 0.08, and so forth. So since this is read-only, if I hover over it, you can see read-only field discount level is never assigned, and read-only are assigned in the constructor of the class. So here it is. I have to write it in the constructor, and I will create a method called set discount level which is what the exercise calls it. It says the set discount level function that determines the discount, and this will return, the function will return the discount level and passes it to our read-only property. So okay, let's create the public decimal set discount level. I have it capitalized, so let's do that. And here we will return the actual discount level and pass it to our discount level read-only property. Now the exercise is asking us to use a switch statement to determine the discount level, but that's a little strange. Normally you wouldn't use switch levels for ranges of numbers, because normally you would like switch of these are whole numbers, but the way the discount is calculated obviously is if it's from 500 to 1000, then it's 5%. If it's from 1000 to 1500, then it's 8%. 1500 to 2000 is 10%, or 2000 or more, I suppose. So normally I would just use an if and if else statement. If it's greater than 2000, then do this. It's because switch statement use integer, like integers or booleans to determine the case. If I do like a switch statement of case 500, then it will only look whether it is actually 500 or if it's 1000 and so forth. It won't look if it's from 500 to 1000. So if I have if I open my text file, if I have a value of 495 or even 1200, this wouldn't really work, because I would have to have a case of 1200 to determine whether there is such case. But 1200 falls between 1000 and 1500, obviously. Now there is a workaround, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. But normally you would not use switch statement for ranges of numbers. You would use it for single numbers. Switch statement of 500, and then you would check against that, but you wouldn't check against, is this less than 500 or something like that? Is it between 500 and 1000? That's just not how it works. But here's the workaround. I'm gonna create an integer range, and it will equal to the spent amount divided by 500. Now here's the reason. If you look in our not the text file, but the instructions, the discount levels are $500 increments. So there is a way to do it simply because they're even increments. If there were not, then we wouldn't be able to actually use switch statement at all. But in this case, there is a way to do it, although it's not very readable, but I'm gonna do it just for the sake of the exercise. So what does this do? Well, imagine you have a I don't know, $1,200 or $1,000. $1,000 divided by 500, you get obviously 2. So that would be a case 2. So I can go over here and create the switch statement, which can do something like switch of the range, and I can do cases, case 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and so forth. The reason for that is because I'm getting my number, which is 1000 divided by 500 in this case, for example. It will return 2, so it will be case 2. If it's only 500, 500 divided by 500 is 1, so it's gonna be this would be our case 1. This would be our case 2. If it's 1500 divided by 500 is 3, so it's gonna be our case 3. And of course 2000 divided by 500 is 4, so that would be our case 4. So this is the way you can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it, and it's still not gonna work. There's a little change I will have to make, but let me just do this first. So this is our case 1. We will return 0. Case 0 is return 0, because that simply means we try to like calculate with $4.99 or less, and $4.99 or less does not get any discount, so we will return 0 discount. Case 1 is returning that's 5% discount, so it's gonna be 0.005, and it's a decimal. 0.5 decimal, and we will break. Case 2, that's the next discount, which is 6%, so it will return 0.06 decimal, so we will break. Case 3, so that would be $1,500, so that's 8%, so we will return 0.08. And finally, if it's over that, we will return 10, so we will do default. If it's any greater than that, we will return up 10%. And this is actually the range, but it's still not working well. Like, let me just spend amount divided by 500. It's a good start, but it's not gonna work. Let's say I have 1,500. From 1,500 to 2,000 is the discount. So 1,500 divided by 500 is 3, so it's the case 3, and that's the 8%. So case 3, that's 8%. That's cool. But what if I do, let's say 2,000 even? 2,000 even would return 4, so that would go to our default. However, it's from 5,000 to 2,000, and then 2001 and more. Maybe not actually. It spends 2,000. It still could work. So basically, how it works. Keep in mind this is an integer range. So if I go and do like the ranges are 1,500. So let's say I have $1,800 spent. Divided by 500, I get 3.6. But since this is an integer, all it cares about is the 3. It disregards the 0.6. So it would be actually, our range would equal 3, so it will come to our case 3. It's $1,800 and it's 8% discount. The same, let's say it's $900 and just $900 divided by 500. Obviously, you get 1.8. It disregards 0.8. So it's only 1, it's our case 1, which is between 500 and 1,000, and it returns 5% discount. So this way, this way you can do it simply because the ranges are even, they're the same, it's just by 500s. So this way you can actually use the switch statement, but if these ranges were not equal, then I guess one would be from 500 to 1,000, the other one would be from 1,000 to 2,000, and from 2,000 to 5,000 or something like that. It wouldn't work this way, so this is a little strange. But like I said, for the sake of the exercise, we can use these. So what else do we do here? Well, we need to get a. So this is hold on. This is our. I'm just gonna comment it. So it's gonna calculate discount percentage. But it's the percentage. It doesn't really tell us how much we are actually saving. It's just how many percent we are saving. So I'm going to create another method called double get discount, and this one will simply return how much we are saving. So it's basically just the spend amount multiplied by the percentages. So it's gonna be the discount level. So it's multiplied by discount level, and it doesn't like something. Oh, because this is a decimal, discount level is decimal, and it's returning a double. So all I have to do is convert this to double, and it will return double. So spend amount, let's say it's 1,500, or let's say $1,000. So we get 5% discount, which is 50. So it will return 1000 times or multiplied by 0.05, which will obviously equal 50. 1000 times 0.05 equals 50. So this is how much money we are saving. That's the actual discount. So the next thing I'm going to do in our preferred customer, I'm going to create the public override the double calculate amount. So this one will update the amount based on the discount. So we will return the spent amount minus the whatever the get discount, the actual amount is being returned from here. Now the calculate amount, we could just return spent amount minus the get discount. So it would go, all right, you spent $1,000 minus this returns 50, so this would return 1000 minus 50, it would equal 950, and that would be our new updated spend amount. But since there is also a calculate amount over here, we could do, like, if we imagine there might be actually more calculations performed over here in the customer class. So rather than using spend amount directly, I'm going to actually call the function called the calculate amount from the base. So it will come over here, it will do whatever it needs to do. In this case, just returns the spend amount, so it's easy, and then performs the calculation on the get discount and returns the whole final result into our overridden calculate amount. So yeah, that's all. Actually, you know what? I'll do one more thing. I'll do public another override string to string. Oh, they already created it for me. And this one will return the string representation of the object. Basically, I will create a string that returns the ID, the name, and all that good stuff for each customer. So it will return string.format, and I'll just go on the new line so it's a little more readable. Not here, over here. So I will return customer ID. It's gonna be placeholder 1, 0 in this case. On a new line, I will return customer name, placeholder 1. On a new line, I'll return customer address. That's gonna be 2. On a new line, let me see what's next. It's gonna be the phone. So on a new line, let me just put it over here so you can see that. So I will return the customer phone. So that's the placeholder 3. And this is the customer email, placeholder 4. And what else is there? The spending. So let me put that on new line too. So the customer spending. Now the customer spending is a currency, so I'm gonna return a currency, which is C currency, the letter C, and 2 simply stands for 2 decimal points. I want 2 decimal points after the currency, so that's gonna be our spending. And the next would be customer on email list, and that's the last one. That's gonna be the boolean true or false, whether the customer is on the email list. And over here we'll simply return the customer ID, customer name, then there's the address, then there's the phone, then there's the customer email, spent amount, and on email list. Okay, so that's that should be our string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 7 of these. So yeah, that should be all. It's oh, I forgot it. Okay, so that's our toString format that will return the formatted information about each customer. So this actually will work, I think, all for the preferred customer. So in the next video we will put it all together and create some objects and some of the customers in it. So, and of course we have to read and write into a file, so we still have quite some journey in front of us. So stick around and watch the next video. Take care.